Hello all, and welcome to tonight's Torah portion. Before I get started, I'm going to say a blessing. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Adonai Elohim, sweeten the words of your Torah in our mouths, and in the mouths of all your people Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, may we altogether know your name and study your Torah for the sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Excuse me. Blessed are you, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who chose us from all the nations and gave us the Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. May Adonai bless you and keep watch over you. May Adonai make his presence to enlighten you, be kind to you. May Adonai bestow favor on you and grant you peace. Today's read is Tetzave, I think. You shall command. And today's read is going to be Exodus 27:20 through 30:10. You shall command the people of Israel that they bring to you pure beaten olive oil for the light, that a lamp may regularly be set up to burn, in the tent of meeting outside of the veil that is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall tend to it from evening to morning before Yahweh. It shall be a statute forever, to be observed throughout their generations by the people of Israel. Then bring excuse me. Then bring near you Aaron your brother and his sons with him, from among the people of Israel, to serve me as priests. Aaron and Aaron's sons, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. And you shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother, for glory and for beauty. And you shall speak to all the skillful, whom I have fulfilled with the spirit of skill, that they make Aaron's garments to consecrate him for priesthood. These are the garments that you shall make: a breastpiece, an ephod, a robe, a coat of checker work, a turban, and a sash. Excuse me. They shall make holy garments for Aaron your brother and his sons to serve me as priests. They shall receive gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet yarns, of fine twined linen, skillfully worked. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces attached to its 2 edges, so that it may be joined together, and a skillfully woven band on it shall be made like it, and be of one piece with it, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet yarn, and fine twined linen. You shall make 2 onyx stones, and engrave on them the name of the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on the one stone, and the names of the remaining 6 on the other, in the order of their birth, as a jeweler engraves signets, so that you shall engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. You shall enclose them in settings of gold filigree, and you shall set 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephods, as stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before Yahweh on his 2 shoulders for remembrance. You shall make settings of gold filigree, and 2 chains of pure gold, twisted like cords, and you shall attach the corded chains to the settings. You shall make a breastpiece of judgment in skilled work, and in the style of the ephod you shall make it, of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarns, and fine twined linen you shall make it. It shall be squared, and doubled in span its length, and its span its breadth. And you shall set in it 4 rows of stones. This row of sardius, topaz, and carbuncle shall be the first row. And the second row shall be emerald, sapphire, and diamond. And the third row shall be jacinth, and agate, and amethyst. And the 4th row, beryl, onyx, and jasper. They shall be set in gold filigree. There shall be 12 stones, with their names according to the names of the sons of Israel. They shall be like signets, each engraved with its name, for the 12 tribes. And you shall make for the breastpiece twisted chains of cords of pure gold. And you shall make for the breastpiece 2 rings of gold, and put the 2 rings on the edges of the breastpiece. And you shall put the 2 cords of gold and the 2 rings at the edges of the breastpiece. The 2 ends of the 2 cords you shall attach to the 2 settings of filigree, and attach it to the front of the shoulder piece of the ephod. You shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them at the 2 ends of the breastpiece on the inside edge next to the ephod. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and attach them to the front, in front to the lower part of the 2 shoulder pieces of the ephod, at its seam above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. And they shall bind the breastpiece by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a lace of blue, so that it may lie on the skillfully woven band of the ephod, so that the breastpiece may not come loose from the ephod. So Aaron shall bear the names of the sons of Israel in the breastpiece of judgment on his heart, when he goes into the holy place, to bring them to regular remembrance before Yahweh. And in the breastpiece of judgment you shall put the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be on Aaron's heart, and when he goes in before Yahweh, thus Aaron shall bear the judgment of the people of Israel on his heart before Yahweh regularly. You shall make the robe of the ephod of all blue. It shall have an opening for the head in the middle of it, with a woven binding around the opening, like the opening of a garment, so that it may not tear. On its hem you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet yarns around its hem, with bells of gold between them. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate around the hem of the robe. And it shall be on Aaron when he ministers. And its sound should be heard when he goes into the holy place before Yahweh, and when he comes out, so that he does not die. You shall make a plate of pure gold, and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, holy to Yahweh. And you shall fasten it to the turban by a cord of blue. It shall be on the front of the turban. It shall be on Aaron's forehead, and Aaron shall bear any guilt from the holy things that the people of Israel consecrate as their holy gifts. It shall regularly be on his forehead, that they may be accepted before Yahweh. You shall weave the coat in checkerwork of fine linen, and you shall make a turban of fine linen, and you shall make a sash embroidered with needlework. For Aaron's sons you shall make coats and sashes and caps, and you shall make them for glory and beauty, and you shall put them on Aaron your brother, and on his sons with him, and shall anoint them, and ordain them, and consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests. And you shall make for them linen undergarments to cover their naked flesh, that they shall reach from the hips to the thighs. And they shall be on Aaron and on his sons when they go into the tent of meeting, or when they come near the altar to minister in the holy place, lest they bear guilt and die. This shall be a statute forever for him, and for his offspring after him. Now this is what you shall do to them to consecrate them, that they may serve me as priests. Take 1 bull out of the herd, and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread, unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers smeared with oil. And you shall make them of fine wheat flour, and you shall put them in 1 basket, and bring them in the basket, and bring the bull and the 2 rams, and you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting, and wash them with water. You shall take the garments, and put on Aaron the coat and the robe of the ephod, and the ephod and the breastpiece, and gird him with the skillfully woven band of the ephod, and you shall set the turban on his head, and put the holy crown on the turban. And you shall take the anointing oil, and pour it on his head, and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons, and put coats on them. And you shall gird Aaron and his sons with the sashes, and bind caps on them. and the priesthood shall be theirs by a statute forever. Thus you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. Then you shall bring the bull before the tent of meeting. Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull. Then you shall kill the bull before Yahweh at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and shall take part of the blood of the bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and the rest of the blood you shall pour out on the base of the altar, and you shall take all the fat that covers the entrails, and a long lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, with the fat that is on them, and burn them on the altar. But the flesh of the bull and its skin and its dung you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Then you shall take one of the rams, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall kill the ram and and you shall kill the blood, and shall take its blood and throw it against the sides of the altar. Then you shall cut the ram into pieces, and wash its entrails and its legs, and put them with its pieces and its head, and burn the whole ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to Yahweh. It is a pleasing aroma, a food offering to Yahweh. You shall take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram, and you shall kill the ram and take part of its blood and pour it at the tip, and put it on the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and on the tips of the right ears of his sons, and on the thumb of their right hands, and on the great toes of their right feet, and throw the rest of the blood against the sides of the altar. And you shall take part of the blood that is on the altar, and of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his garments, and on his sons and his sons' garments with him. He and his garments shall be holy, and his sons garments with him. You shall also take the fat from the ram, and the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the long lobe of the liver, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, and the right thigh, for it is a ram of ordination. And 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake of bread made with oil, and 1 wafer out of the basket of unleavened bread that is before Yahweh. And you shall put all these on the palms of Aaron and on the palms of his sons, and wave them for a wave offering before Yahweh. Then you shall take them from their hands, and burn them on the altar on top of the burnt offering, as a pleasing aroma before Yahweh. It is a food offering to Yahweh. You shall take the beast of the ram of Aaron's ordination, and wave it for a wave offering before Yahweh, and it shall be your portion. And you shall consecrate the beast of the wave offering that is waved, and the thigh of the priest's portion that is contributed from the ram of ordination, from what was Aaron's and his sons. And it shall be for Aaron and his sons as a perpetual due from the people of Israel, for it is a contribution. It shall be a contribution from the people of Israel, from their peace offerings, their contribution to Yahweh. The holy garments of Aaron shall be for his sons after him, and they shall be anointed in them and ordained in them, and the sons who succeeds him as priests, who comes in to the tent of meeting to minister in the holy place, shall wear them 7 days. You shall take the ram of ordination and boil its flesh in the holy place. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket of the entrance of the tent of meeting, and they shall eat those things, with which atonement was made at their ordination and consecration. But an outsider shall not eat of them, because they are holy. And if any of the flesh for the ordination or of the bread remain until morning, then you shall burn the remainder with fire. It shall not be eaten, because it is holy. Thus you shall do to Aaron and to his sons, according to all that I have commanded you. Through 7 days you shall ordain them. And every day you shall offer a bull as a sin offering for atonement, and you shall purify the altar. Then when you make atonement for it, and you shall anoint it to consecrate it. 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar, and consecrate it. But and the altar shall be most holy. Whoever touches the altar shall become holy. Now this is what you shall offer on the altar: 2 lambs a year old by day, a year old day by day, regularly. One lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer at twilight. And with the first lamb, a tenth of measure of fine flour mingled with a fourth of a hin of beaten oil, and a fourth of a hin of wine for a drink offering. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, you shall offer it with a grain offering and its drink offering, as in the morning, for a pleasing aroma, a food offering to Yahweh. It shall be regular burnt offering throughout your generations at the entrance of the tent of meeting before Yahweh. Where I will meet with you to speak to you there. There I will meet with the people of Israel, and it shall be sanctified by my glory. I will consecrate the tent of meeting and the altar, and Aaron also and his sons. I will consecrate to serve me as priests. I will dwell among the people of Israel, and will be their God. And they shall know that I am Yahweh, their Elohim, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might dwell among them. I am Yahweh, their Elohim. You shall make an altar on which to burn incense. You shall make it of acacia wood. A cubit shall be its length, and a cubit its breadth. It shall be a square, and 2 cubits shall be its height. Its horn shall be of one piece with it. You shall overlay it with pure gold, its top around its edges and its horn. And you shall make a molding of gold around it. And you shall make 2 golden rings for it. Under its molding on the opposite sides of it you shall make them. And they shall be holders for poles with which to carry it. You shall make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, and you shall put it in front of the veil that is above the ark of testimony, in front of the mercy seat that is above the testimony, where I meet with you. And Aaron shall burn fragrant incense on it. Every morning when he dresses the lambs, he shall burn it. And when Aaron sets up the lamps at twilight, he shall burn it. A regular incense offering before Yahweh throughout your generation. You shall not offer unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering, or a grain offering, and you shall not pour drink offering on it. Aaron shall make atonement on its horns once a year with the blood of the sin offering of atonement. He shall make atonement for it once in the year throughout your generations. It is most holy to Yahweh. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who chose us from all, who gave us the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed art thou, Adonai, giver of the Torah. Brukatah Adonai Elohim Malach. Malach Halom, Ashna Talunu, Toradi Met Vaishi Elom, Natabati Kenu Brukatah Adonai Netina Torah. Hello all, and welcome to tonight's Torah portion. Before I get started, I'm going to say a blessing. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Adonai Elohim, you sing the words of your Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of all your people, Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, may we altogether know your name and study your Torah for the sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to his people, Israel. Blessed are you, Adonai Elohim, you King of the universe, who chose us from all the nations and gave us the Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. May Adonai bless you and keep watch over you. May Adonai make his presence you and may be kind to you. May Adonai bestow favor on you and grant you peace. Today's read is Ezekiel 43:10-27. As for you, son of man, describe to the house of Israel the temple, that they may be ashamed of their iniquities, and they shall measure the plan. And if they are ashamed of all that they have done, let make known to them the design of the temple, its arrangement, its exits, its entrance, that is, its whole design, and make it known to them as well as its statutes, and its whole design and all its laws, and write it down in their sight, so that they may observe its laws, and all its statutes, and carry them out. This is the law of the temple. The whole territory on top of the mountain, all around, shall be holy. Behold, this is the law of the temple. These are the measurements of the altar by cubits, the cubit being a cubit in a handbreadth. Its base shall be 1 cubit high and 1 cubit broad, with a rim of span around its edge. And this shall be the height of the altar, from the base on the ground to the lower ledge, 2 cubits, and a breadth of 1 cubit. And from the smaller ledge to the larger ledge, 4 cubits, with a breadth of 1 cubit. And the altar's hearth 4 cubits, and from the altar hearth projecting upward 4 horns. The altar hearth shall be square, 12 cubits long by 12 broad. The ledge also shall be square, 14 cubits long by 14 broad, with a rim around it half a cubit broad, and its base 1 cubit all around. The steps of the altar shall face east. And he said to me, Son of man, thus says the Lord Yahweh, these are the ordinances for the altar. On a day when it is erected, for offering burnt offerings upon it, and for throwing blood against it, you shall give the Levitical priests of the family of Zadok, who draw near to me to minister to me, declares the Lord Yahweh, a bull from the herd for a sin offering, and you shall take some of its blood and put it on the 4 horns of the altar, and on the 4 corners of the ledge, and upon the rim all around. Thus you shall purify the altar and make atonement for it. You shall also take the bull of the sin offering, and it shall be burned in the appointed place belonging to the temple, outside the sacred area. And on the 2nd day you shall offer a male goat without blemish for a sin offering, and the altar shall be purified, as it was purified with the bull. When you have finished purifying it, you shall offer a bull from the herd without blemish, and a ram from the flock without blemish, and you shall present them before Yahweh. And the priest shall sprinkle salt on them, and offer them up as a burnt offering to Yahweh. For 7 days you shall provide a male goat for a sin offering, also a bull from the herd, and a ram from the flock without blemish shall be provided. 7 days they shall make atonement for the altar and cleanse it, and so consecrate it. And when they have completed these days, then from the 8th day onward the priest shall offer on the altar your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, and I will accept you, declares Lord Yahweh. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who gavest the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed art thou, Adonai, giver of the Torah. Baruch Adonai Elohim, Malach Halom. Asher natalanu Torah met Vaishti Elom, Nataba Tekinu, Baruch Adonai Netina Torah. Hello all, and welcome to tonight's Torah portion. Before I get started, I must say a blessing. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments, and commanded us to engross ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Adonai Elohim, you sweeten the words of your Torah in their mouths, and in the mouths of all your people Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, may we all together know your name and study your Torah for sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Blessed are you, Adonai Elohim, you King of the universe, who chose us from all the nations and gave us the Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. May Adonai bless you and keep watch over you. May Adonai make his presence to align you, may be kind to you. May Adonai bestow favor on you and grant you peace. Today's read is 1 Samuel 15:2 through 34. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, I have noted that what Amalek did to Israel in opposing them on the way when they came up out of Egypt. Now go and strike Amalek, and devote to destruction all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and women, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. So Saul summoned the people and numbered them in Telaim, 200,000 men on foot, and 10,000 men of Judah. And Saul came to the city of Amalek and lay in wait in the valley. Then Saul said to the Kenites, Go, depart, go down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them, for you showed kindness to all the people of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites, and Saul defeated the Amalekites from Havilah as far as Shur, which is east of Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and devoted to destruction all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fattened calves, and the lambs, and all that was good. It would not utterly destroy them. All that was despised and worthless they devoted to destruction. The word of Yahweh came to Samuel. I regret that I have made Saul king, for he has turned back from following me and has not performed my commandments. And Samuel was angry, and he cried to Yahweh all night. And Samuel rose up early to meet Saul in the morning. And it was told Samuel, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set up a monument for himself, and turned and passed on, and went down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said to him, Blessed be you to Yahweh. I have performed the commandment of Yahweh. And Samuel said, What then is this bleating of sheep in my ears, and the lowing of oxen that I hear? Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites. For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice to Yahweh your Elohim. And the rest we have devoted to destruction. Then Samuel said to Saul, Stop, I will tell you what Yahweh said to me this night. And he said to him, Speak. And Samuel said, Though you are little in your own eyes, and are you not the head of the tribes of Israel? Yahweh anointed you king over Israel. And Yahweh sent you on a mission, and said, Go devote to destruction the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they have been consumed. Why then did you not obey the voice of Yahweh? Why did you pounce on the spoil and do what was evil in the sight of Yahweh? And Saul said to Samuel, I have obeyed the voice of Yahweh. I have gone on the mission on which Yahweh sent me. I have brought back Agag the king of Amalek, and I have devoted the Amalekites to destruction. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, and the best of the things devoted to destruction, to sacrifice to Yahweh your Elohim in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Has Yahweh as great delights in burnt offering and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen than the fat of rams. For rebellion is the sin of divination, and presumption is as iniquity as idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahweh, he has also rejected you from being king. Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of Yahweh and your words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now therefore, please pardon my sin and return with me, that I may bow before Yahweh. And Samuel said to Saul, I will not return with you, for you have rejected the word of Yahweh, and Yahweh has rejected you from being king over Israel. As Samuel turned to go away, Saul seized the skirt of his robe, and it tore. And Samuel said to him, Yahweh has torn the kingdom of Israel from you this day, and has given it to a neighbor of yours, who is better than you. And also the glory of Israel will not lie or have regret, for he is not a man that he should have regret. Then he said, I have sinned. Yet honor me now before the elders of my people and before Israel, and return with me, that I may bow before Yahweh your Elohim. So Samuel turned back after Saul, and Saul bowed before Yahweh. Then Samuel said, Bring here to me Agag the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came to him cheerfully. Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As your sword has made women childless, so shall your mother be childless among women. And Samuel hacked Agag to pieces before Yahweh in Gilgal. Then Samuel went to Rumah, and Saul set up his house in Gibeah of Saul. Blessed art thou, Adonai Eloheinu, King of the universe, who gives the Torah of truth and set everlasting life in our midst. Blessed art thou, Adonai, giver of the Torah, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Malach Alo, Mashanatah Lenu, Toredi Met Vaishei Elom, Atah Betekinu, Baruch atah Adonai Nitina Torah. Hello all, and welcome to tonight's Torah portion. Before I get started, I'm going to say a blessing. Blessed art thou, Adonai Eloheinu, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments, commanded us to engross ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Adonai Eloheinu, sing the words of your Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of all your people of Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, may we all together know your name and study your Torah for the sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Blessed are you, Adonai Eloheinu, King of the universe, who chose us from all the nations that gave us the Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, giver of the Torah. May Adonai bless you and keep watch over you. May Adonai make his presence to light you, may be kind to you. May Adonai bestow favor on you and grant you peace. Today's read is Mark 4:35 through 5:43. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And the other boats were with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke and rebuked the winds and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was great calm. And he said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great fear, and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" They came to the other side of the sea, to the country of Gerasenes. And when Yeshua had stepped out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tomb a man with an unclean spirit. He lived among the tombs, and no one could bind him any more, not even with a chain. For he had often been bound with shackles and chains, but he wrenched the chains apart, and he broke the shackles into pieces. No one had the strength to subdue him. Night and day, among the tombs and on the mountains, he was always crying out and cutting himself with stones. And when he saw Yeshua from afar, he ran and fell down before him, and crying out with a loud voice, he said, "What have you to do with me, Yeshua, Son of the Most High God? I adjure you, by God, do not torment me." For he was saying to them, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." And Yeshua asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he begged them earnestly not to send them out to the country. Now a great herd of pigs was feeding on the hillside. And they begged him, saying, "Send us to the pigs. Let us enter them." So he gave them permission. And the unclean spirits came out and entered the pigs, and the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down the steep bank into the sea and drowned in the sea. The herdsmen fled and told it in the city and in the country, and the people came to see what it was that had happened. And they came to Yeshua and saw the demon-possessed man, the one who had the legion, sitting there, clothed and in its right mind. And they were afraid. Those who had seen it described to them what had happened to the demon-possessed man and they began to beg Yeshua to depart from their region. And he was getting into the boat. The man who had been possessed with demons begged him that he might be with him. And he did not permit him, but said to him, "Go home to your friends, and tell them how much the Lord has done for you, and how he has had mercy on you." And he went away and began to proclaim in the Decapolis how much Yeshua had done for him. And everyone marveled. And when Yeshua had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd gathered about him, and he was beside the sea. They came out of one of the rulers' synagogues, Jairus by name, and seeing him he fell at his feet, and implored him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, so that she may be made well and alive." And he went with him. And a great crowd followed him, and thronged about him. And there was a woman who had a discharge of blood for 12 years, and who had suffered much under many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was no better, but rather grew worse. She had heard the reports about Yeshua, and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment, for she said, "If I touch even his garments, I will be made well." And immediately the flood of blood dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of disease. And Yeshua, perceiving in himself that power had gone out from him, immediately turned about in the crowd and said, "Who touched my garments?" And his disciples said to him, "You see the crowd pressing around you, and yet you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked around to see who had done it. But the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came in fear and trembling, and fell down before him, and told him the whole truth. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, and be healed of your disease." While he was still speaking, there came from the ruler's house some who said, "Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the teacher any further?" But overhearing what they said, Yeshua said to the ruler in the synagogue, "Do not fear, only believe." And he allowed no one to follow him except Peter and James and John, the brother of James. They came to the house of the ruler in the synagogue, and Yeshua saw a commotion and people weeping and wailing loudly. And when he had entered, he said to them, "Why are you making commotion and weeping? The child is not dead, but sleeping." And they laughed at him. But he put them all outside, and took the child's father and mother and those who were with him, and went in to where the child was. Taking her by the hand, he said to her, "Talitha Kumi," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise." And immediately the girl got up and began walking, for she was 12 years of age. And they were immediately overcome with amazement. And he strictly charged them that no one should know this, and told them to give her something to eat. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who gives the Torah of truth and everlasting life in our midst. Blessed art thou, Adonai, give the Torah. Brukutah Adonai Elohim, Malak Halom, Ashnatala Turde Met Vaishe Elom, Natavetikinu, Brukutah Adonai Etina Torah. Hello all, and welcome to tonight's Torah portion. Before I get started, I must say a blessing. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to engross ourselves with the words of Torah. Please, Adonai Elohim, you sing the words of your Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of all your people Israel. May we and our offspring, the offspring of your people, the house of Israel, may we altogether know your name and study your Torah for the sake of fulfilling your desire. Blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to his people Israel. Blessed are you, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who chooses from all the nations and gives the Torah. Blessed are you, Adonai, give the Torah. May Adonai bless you and keep watch over you. May Adonai make his presence shine on you, and may be kind to you. May Adonai bestow favor on you and grant you peace. Today's read is Philippians 4:10-20. I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at length you have revived your concern for me. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. Now that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In every circumstance I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Yet it was kind of you to share my trouble. And you, Philippians, yourselves know that in the beginning of the gospel, when I left Macedonia, no church entered into partnership with me in living and receiving except you only. Even in Thessalonica, you sent me help for my needs once again. Now that I seek the gift, but I seek the fruit that increases to your credit. I have received full payment, and more. I am well supplied, having received from Epaphroditus the gift you sent, a fragrant offering, a sacrifice acceptable and pleasing to Adonai. And my Adonai will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory In Yeshua HaMashiach. To our Adonai and Father be glory forever and ever. Amen. Blessed art thou, Adonai Elohim, King of the universe, who gavest the Torah of truth instead of everlasting life in our midst. Blessed art thou, Adonai, giver of Torah, Brukatah Adonai Elohim, Malach Halom, Asernatad, Linu Torah met by Shalom, Natab Beta, can you Brukatah Adonai Natin HaTorah.